every brand has an unchanging idea that guides business and a changing aspect that allows it to adapt to change. But remember this, this is not from the receiver's point of view. This is from the person who owns the brand. This he must be, or he or she must be clear that this is how I see my brand. I am an IFA, this is what my brand stands for. It will never cheat customers, even if it means losing my business, fine. If you have some idea that guides your business. What is not a brand? A brand is not the logo. I get many people who come to me and say, sir, ek jaldi se ek logo bana dijiye. I said, no boss, that is not the business I am in. Jaldi logo banana hai. There are quite a few printers who can make it for you. They'll show you 4 butterflies and 3 trees and 2 sunrises and sun. That's not. In fact, people now play with their logos. The advertising is not the brand. Zara, last I know, I don't know what the 2013 figures, but 2012 was 7.6 billion euros. Zara has never ever spent 1 naya paisa on advertising. In fact, they haven't even spent money on PR. And yet it is the largest brand in retail. It is the largest brand in retail in India. It was 400 crores last year. The Body Shop was bought over by L'Oreal, but it never spent money. It was 1.2 billion euro when it was bought over. The image is not the brand. Fortune named Enron America most innovative company for 6 consecutive years. Most of the innovation was related to the balance sheet. Yeah? And you know what Satyam happened to Satyam. So this image is not really the brand. The logo is nothing is the brand, the experiences. From the receivers, you are an IFA, when somebody makes a phone call, what does she hear first? Does she hear a smile on the phone? If not, you are in serious trouble. If she calls you at 2 in the morning, does she still hear a fun? So the experience that the customer has is the brand. I went to a very big corporate house this morning, swanky building, blue glass, fantastic, but the person at the reception refused to smile. And when she asked me to go and sit in a lounge, she didn't ask me, she ordered me. Go there, sir. Now, I'm not very sure I like this brand enough. Yeah. So, this is from the user's perspective. Now, what is the problem with the 21st century? Let's quickly, and when did this begin for the 21st century? It started in 1985. And why do we say it started in 1985? I don't know how many of you know this. Coke was getting seriously worried about Pepsi. They felt that youngsters liked Pepsi more than Coke. So they did something called blind tests. You know what a blind test is? You are blindfolded, 2 glasses are placed in front of you. You drink one, keep it down, take the other, drink that, and then you say, I like this or I like that. The problem with this blind test, which I'm not very sure they knew at that time, is that 60% of the people not only can't tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi, they can't tell the difference between Coke and Sprite. That's the truth, because the test is done at 4 degrees centigrade. The liquid in the glass is at 4 degrees. At that temperature, you cannot make out the difference. Anyway, they went ahead, 2 lakh blind tests. They launched a new Coke. You can see the ad, the best just got better. And then the world collapsed. The internet wasn't born then, but there were an average of 27,000 phone calls per day saying something. I'll tell you what they said. There were 12,500 faxes. USA being USA, they also started something called the Society for the Real Thing. They were about to go to court. And what were all of them singing? The most interesting one I thought was a fax sent to the chairman there, Gozeta. And the fax said, sir, can you please sign this blank sheet of paper and send it back to me, because I think in around 5 or 10 years, the signature of the biggest idiot in the US will fetch me a lot of money. Yeah? So that's what Now, what were they saying? They were saying, how dare you change the taste of my Coke? So for the first time in the history of marketing and branding, suddenly you realize that the legal owner of the brand might be the company, but the psychological ownership is shared. And this particular aspect of a brand has been multiplied manifold by the internet. Here, Dow Chemicals spend a lot of money creating an advertising commercial, spend some more money showing that commercial. I am going to show you that commercial. Is it connected? Is the sound connected? Okay. So just let him control the sound.
For each of us, there's a moment of discovery. We turn a page, we raise a hand, and just then, in the flash of a synapse, we learn that life is elemental. And this knowledge changes everything. We look around and see the grandness of the scheme. Sodium bonding with chlorine, carbon bonding with oxygen, hydrogen bonding with oxygen. We see all things connected. We see life unfold. And in the dazzling brilliance of this knowledge, we may overlook the element not listed on the chart. Its importance so obvious, its presence is simply understood. The missing element is the human element, and when we add it to the equation, the chemistry changes. Every reaction is different. Potassium looks to bond with potential. Metals behave with hardened resolve. And hydrogen and oxygen form desire. The human element is the element of change. It gives us our footing to stand fearlessly and face the future. It is a way of seeing. It gives us a way of touching issues, ambitions, lives. The human element. Nothing is more fundamental. Nothing more elemental.
How many deal with advertising agencies? How many of you deal with advertising agencies? Yes, Kailash here. Anybody else? Kailash seems to be the lucky chap. He deals with advertising agencies, women, okay, all of them, okay. So if you were to judge this ad, you would say yes, good ad, because it's about chemicals, chemical periodic table has symbols, and therefore there is no symbol for human being, therefore I invented HU, fantastic, it's a very memorable ad. And then they have spent a lot more time showing this ad on television. The problem with that is that once that ad has stopped running, it's gone. Because it's an internet networked world, what happens 3 months later is this.
For each of us, there's a moment of discovery. We turn a page, we raise a hand, and just then, in the flash of a synapse.
Sorry, there's something wrong. 1 second. Okay, there's a slide missing there. What happened was that the same ad was used to show what was happening in Bhopal. So somebody took that ad, put the soundtrack of Bhopal onto it, of people, took the same soundtrack and put the visuals which are totally different. Now, when I showed this to somebody, they said, "Arey, wo to dur ki baat hai. Tell me what happens in India." So I'll show you what has happened in India.
आइए सर, आइए सर।
नमस्कार।
अरे सर को नमस्कार करो।
मैं आपका वोट मांगने आया हूँ।
अरे आइए ना सर, बैठिए। रामू काका, सर के लिए भी एक चाय। अच्छा सर, वैसे मतलब आपका
भंवर लाल भंडारी।
और क्वालिफिकेशन?
क्वालिफिकेशन?
चलिए छोड़िए, अपना वर्क एक्सपीरियंस बताइए।
25 साल से हैं इस लाइन में।
सर वर्क एक्सपीरियंस मतलब कंस्ट्रक्शन, वाटर वर्क्स, इंजीनियरिंग।
अच्छा, हमारा इंटरव्यू ले रहे हो क्या?
सर इतनी बड़ी जॉब के लिए अप्लाई किया आपने?
कौन सा जॉब?
देश को चलाने का जॉब सर। खैर चाय लीजिए।
हर सुबह सिर्फ उठो मत, टाटा टी।
Like it? Yes. So instead of talking about flavor and color and some place in Darjeeling or Ooty, it's a nice way of selling tea. You are saying Utho mat jago. They've got a website, Jagore, how to go and how to go and register yourself as a voter, all of this. The problem is again the internet. Now the internet allows each one of us to be a producer of media, and this is what happened.
आइए सर, आइए सर।
नमस्कार, मैं आपको वोट देने आया हूँ।
अरे आइए ना सर,
बच्चों सर को एक्सटिंक्शन के बारे में बताओ। अच्छा सर, वैसे आपका
वादा निभाएंगे और पोर्ट भी बनाएंगे।
और जस्टिफिकेशन?
जस्टिफिकेशन?
चलिए छोड़िए, अपने वर्क एथिक्स के बारे में बताइए।
100 साल से हैं इस लाइन में।
सर मेरा मतलब है एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट, टर्टल ट्रैकिंग।
अच्छा, तो हमें गिल्टी फील करा रहे हो क्या?
सर इतनी बड़ी जिम्मेदारी के लिए अप्लाई किया आपने।
कौन सी जिम्मेदारी?
टाटा का नाम रोशन करने की सर। खैर चाय लीजिए।
हर सुबह सिर्फ उठो मत।
So the Tatas were building a port at Dhamra near Orissa. Actually, they were not too much at fault. They had all the permissions, but the Greenpeace people felt that they were going to destroy the olive ridley turtles nesting, and therefore this is what they made. Now this is going to stay on the net. The television commercial comes and goes. Yeah. So the brand is being redefined by whoever wants to. You need to be very, very careful about how you look at the brand. Therefore. Look at this poor brand. That was the packaging.